I'm going to share a quick and easy formula that lets you work out how quickly it will take you to double your money. Learning about this has changed our lives. Once I learned this formula, I was obsessed. I use it all the time. It made me realize that the earlier I started investing my money, the more opportunities it had to double many times over. I thought I had plenty of time to start investing and also contribute to my retirement fund, but this formula has proved me wrong. The formula is the rule of 72. If you divide 72 by your expected return, the answer will be how many years it will take you to double your money. And I'll show you how easy it is to use. The average return of the stock market, well, the S&P 500, which is the top 500 US companies, has had a historic annualized average return of around 10.5% since its 1957 inception. So using this formula, how long might it take you to double your money? Well, if we use a 10% return, so we divide 72 by 10, it could take 7.2 years. I like to use 7%, and using 7%, it could be 10.28 years. But really, the only thing we need to know is, once you work out what your expected return is, you only need to remember how many years it will take for you to double your money. And here are a few calculations that I did for easy reference. As I said, I like to use 7% because it's more conservative, but it's also much easier to remember that my portfolio will double every 10 years. And of course, I must mention that the information in this video is for entertainment and general information only. It's not financial advice. You can read my full disclaimer in the description box below. And you'll notice that I will say may, could, or might double your money a lot in this video, as especially with investing, past returns does not indicate future returns and nothing is guaranteed. We can only make predictions. Now let's use me as an example. I'm 37 and let's say I have $100,000 invested and I've predicted my portfolio will double every 10 years. At 47, it could be worth $200,000, at 57, $400K, and then at 67, $800K, and 77, $1.6 million, and at 87, $3.2 million. So having that extra 10 or even 20 years to compound can make such a difference. I often use this quick calculation to see how much I will have in my retirement account. I am 37, so I have 23 years until I can access my retirement account. So that means my portfolio could double 2 to 3 times in that time frame, depending on the market, of course. And at the moment, my retirement account balance is $231,000. So once it doubles once, it would be worth $462,000, and then another double, it would be $924,000, and then if it doubled again, it would be $1.84 million. Again, showing that extra 10 years can make a huge difference. And this video is brought to you by ShareSite. ShareSite is a portfolio tracking tool that I use and love, and it also makes tax time super simple. I thought I would check out and see what my portfolio return has been using ShareSite. It's been a sad old time for my portfolio lately, and ShareSite tells me that my return since I started investing has been 4.96%, and ShareSite compares this to the index, which has been 7.98%, which is more than my return. The reason our percentage isn't great is because we put a lot of money into our portfolio here, and that was pretty much at the top of the market, and it's gone down since that. So that's really thrown off our percentages. So using the rule of 72 with my current return, it looks like my portfolio could double every 14.5 years. And then with the index return of 7.98%, it might take 9 years. ShareSite has a free plan if you have under 10 holdings, which I use for many years. And if you're unsure, you could always sign up for the free plan to see what it's like. And if you do decide to sign up for the 12-month plan, using my link will save you 4 months off the purchase price of the annual premium plan. There's something this formula doesn't allow for, and you may see this as good or bad. It doesn't allow for the fact that you will likely contribute more to your portfolio. Maybe that's a good thing because it makes it a more conservative estimate, and your portfolio might actually double much quicker. What I found interesting when looking at these calculations was that when I compared a 3% and 4% rate of return, the difference between those investment returns was very surprising and shows the difference small changes in percentages can make. Using this rule, 72 divided by a 3% return shows that the money may take 24 years to double. While using a 4% return, it shows that it could take 18 years to double. That's a difference of 6 years. I don't know about you, but 6 years feels like a long time. And something else that this formula can show is the difference a high management fee can make. If someone has $1 million invested and they were paying a 1% management fee, that would be $10,000. If they were chasing an 8% return, that would be $80,000. But because of that $10,000 fee, the return is actually 7 70k or 7%. So using the rule of 72, the 8% return may double every 9 years, and using the 7% return, it might double every 10.28 years. What I also found motivating is that small amounts saved and invested today could double over time, multiple times, and end up being worth much more. Let's say you are able to save $500 now by shopping around for a better deal on all of your insurances. This $500 invested at a 7% rate of return could double every 10 years. So over 30 years, it could double about 3 times. So that $500 possibly becomes $1,000, then $2,000, and then $4,000. That really does show that small amounts do compound over time. You're probably thinking that these numbers look great, but what about inflation? $1 million today won't be worth the same in 30 to 40 years' time. Many countries have an inflation target of around 2 to 3%. Of course, it's much higher at the moment. So if you wanted to work out what your investment would be worth in today's dollars, you simply subtract the inflation percentage from the predicted investment return. This is another reason why I like to use a 7% return. It's the 10% average return of the stock market minus 3% for inflation. This rule can also be used to work out what percentage of return you might need to double your portfolio in a certain amount of time. Let's say I want to reach a particular goal in a certain amount of time and I am 50% of the way there. The calculation is 72 divided by how many years. So if I wanted my portfolio to double by my 45th birthday in 8 years' time, I divide 72 by 8, which is 9%. 9% is the rate of return I would need to make this happen. And just remember, this rule can work in reverse with debt. Many credit cards can have up to a 20% interest rate, and using this rule, it would take 3.6 years for that debt to double. If you found this video helpful and inspiring, don't forget to subscribe, and you can also find me on Instagram and Facebook.